Whew, wonderful question. Love that question. And aren't we glad that we finally arrived that we can ask it? Honestly, a prophet is the voice of God's mind, will, thoughts, emotion, his ways, and his initiatives. One God. Psychics have to get their information from whatever's in the vicinity. Psychic comes from suke, which is soul. So they're soul readers. By the time it gets to the soul, let's be real, it's already in the planet. And so they can't get information from God's book of life on people or God's archives from before the foundation of the world. Many of the Christians, I would dare say even prophets, do not realize that God said he wrote a book on every life he brought into existence. Right on down to the gnat that's going to feed an insect. He wrote a book on it. Everything has a page because he does everything by his word. Psychics, on the other hand, draw from a bunch of external stimuli. For example, you get some, they need the tarot cards. You have some, the clairvoyants, they got to read some leaves and read some time, whatever. You have others that have to be channeled by various spirits. Ours is the easiest one. Most of those that they rely on have to turn to sacrifices and humans. We don't have to do that. Our sacrifice is Jesus Christ, but he happens to be the author of the Lord's words and the creator of the messengers. So we are not only different, we are several grades above, because we are not bound by what God has cursed and what God has doomed. We operate, those of us who are trained, we operate as God's extensions and God's messengers and his appendage. That's very different. So we don't have to slaughter animals to get a word. We don't have to go into sexual rituals, and we don't have to do alcohol and drugs and all of those kinds of things. You know, a lot of the old prophets from the nations, they had to go into toxic. That's why we have drugs that feature so prominently in it. That's why Paul talks about in the Galatians pharmakia. We have to do drugs, we have to do sorcery, they have to do a whole lot of things to get geared up. And us, we have the prophet spirit in us. We're not taking on another spirit who has been eavesdropping or breaking in, hacking into God's word that has come into this realm. We are literally the absolute embodiment of everything that God would want to say through us. It's an embodiment. That is what the prophet spirit is all about. And as you can see, I'm all excited. So I'm going to stop right now because, you know, that's one of my hot buttons. When he says my yoke is easy and my burden is light, he's saying they have to do a whole lot of things to get what you get from me just by being my seed.